They don't have Champions League football. They're not in the Europa League either.
In 10 games in Premier League we won 2. I know that. Imagine what is this for a fan of Manchester United. Imagine what is this for me. So we are getting a new coach that is losing more than the last coach. I have full knowledge of that. Like I said, I'm not going to change, no matter what. And I know we can succeed, but we need to survive this moment because I'm not naive. And I know that we need to survive now. So we are being the worst team, maybe, in history of Manchester United.
But somehow Manchester United might be one of the most dangerous teams in England this season.
6 months ago, in my first 3 games in charge, with 2 victories and 1 draw, I said to you, the storm is coming. Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you the good days are coming.
While clubs like Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal and Chelsea are fighting across 4 competitions, United only have one mission: to dominate the Premier League. And with the team they've just built, they might actually pull it off.
Top half?
Top half.
I would expect him to be in the top half.
Last season was a disaster. Ruben Amorim collapsed, the team had no identity, and it looked like the project had completely fallen apart.
I mean, if they're not in the top half, even with just signing Mbemo, then Ruben Amorim has to go.
But behind the scenes, something terrifying was brewing. In silence, Amorim has created a monster. And this isn't just a team, this is a machine built to press, dominate and destroy. Let's start with Bryan Mbeumo.
It's in towards Mbeumo, it is 4!
Brentford's most lethal player last season. He scored 20 goals and delivered 7 assists in 38 matches, terrorising defences every week. United paid €75 million to bring him to Old Trafford.
This is huge news because we've been talking about Man United needing more firepower, needing more dynamism in attack, needing more power in general. And it seems they've identified Mbeumo and he's been signed to kind of fulfil that alongside the likes of Cunha and what's already in the building. He brings goals. So the stats, and I don't drive everything on stats, the eye test has to work and match up as well, and the eye test does. But the stats are super impressive, guys, I'm telling you. 41 appearances, 20 goals, that's 1 goal every 2 games, right? And 8 assists, that's 28 goal involvements in 41 games. This guy is performing at a high level.
Then came Matheus Cunha, Wolves' best attacker by far. A creative spark, a powerful runner, a natural finisher. He delivered 17 goals and 6 assists, and United spent over €72 million to get him.
The only guy that I've seen taking advantage of that is Matheus Cunha at Liverpool. When he dummy shooting and Van Dijk turn. I don't know if you remember that goal.
Yeah, he come in on the left foot.
Come inside. More often than not a lot of people will keep their calm in this type of situation. So overall, he said to people, beat me. He doesn't give you the option, you beat me. And more often than not, out of 10 times, he will win 8 or 9.
But they didn't stop there. They went further and signed Diego León, the gem from Cerro Porteño. A left-back with South American flair, vision and calm under pressure. They paid just €4 million for him, but his potential is enormous.
The kid came from Paraguay and it's the first week, second week in Manchester United. He did really well. He's learning things, he's powerful, he's going to be a very good player.
And then came the nuclear signing, Benjamin Šeško.
Manchester United have reached an agreement with Benjamin Šeško on a 5-year contract valid until June 2030, and they are now closing in on a deal to sign the Slovenian striker. Šeško wanted Manchester United. I told you last night how Man United feeling was very clear, and now the confirmation. Agreement with the player, Šeško wants to go to United, and now United in direct contact with Red Bull Leipzig to complete the agreement on the transfer fee. Still not completed between the two clubs, but negotiations underway, and then will be time for the here we go for Benjamin Šeško to Manchester United. His priority, despite efforts from Newcastle United, he wants Manchester United. Benjamin Šeško says yes to the proposal and is now closing in on a move to Man United.
The most valuable player at RB Leipzig, a striker with power, pace and precision. Last season he scored 21 goals and gave 6 assists. Newcastle offered €90 million for him. Bayern and Dortmund feared him. But Šeško said no to all of them. He only wanted United, and now with a total package of €85 million, including add-ons, he's on his way to Old Trafford. Imagine that firepower. Šeško, Mbeumo, Cunha and Lyon arriving all at once. And they won't be here to rebuild, they're here to take over.
But what I would say, not only the goals is a step up, but I would say the mobility in the front areas now is something, as a defender, I'm looking at and I'm thinking differently about Manchester United's front line.
These signings are terrifying, no question about it. But if we're talking tactics, if we're talking about who truly makes Ruben Amorim's system tick, then the crown jewel isn't up front, it's Carlos Baleba.
That's what we don't have.
That's what we're losing.
No, you've nailed that.
They know how to press high. That's part of the game now, yeah? It's the ones behind enabling them to go and not look back. Because the moment you look back, as a midfielder or a forward, the moment's gone, they're out. If they're going confidently and they're knowing the boys behind because they're orchestrating it and telling them, you go, because I'm in here behind you, they're not going to get out, gives you a chance. Baleba, his biggest thing for me is being able to transfer the ball from the back line in our back area through to the 8s and the 10s. Yeah. Either driving with it or turning and getting it and playing.
Yeah, that's what we don't have.
That's what we're losing.
No, you've nailed that. When I look at our midfield, I do see it pressing high. And then I wonder why we're getting absolutely walloped on the transition. And you're right, yeah, you be the 6 in there. And that's where that extra player comes from, and just takes it back to that understanding of like a 4-3-3. You go in there, you do that, you stop that middle run.
Just stop the transition.
Oh, now I'm excited. Joe, I'm excited now.
I mean, now we're fixed. Don't do that.
The young midfielder, already considered one of the most promising talents in the entire Premier League, brings a blend of raw aggression and refined intelligence that's simply insane. His tackle success rate is elite. His front foot defending is among the very best in the league. And more importantly, his reading of the game fits perfectly into Amorim's high-pressing, ball-dominant style. But Baleba isn't just another signing. He's the anchor, the metronome, the silent destroyer who allows everything else to flow. And with him at the core, this new United doesn't just look scary, it looks inevitable. And they'll do it under Ruben Amorim, a tactical genius who lives for attacking football. His teams use 3 centre-backs, play with short, fast passing, and press high with energy and purpose. And now he's got Rasmus Højlund and Bruno Fernandes to lead the charge.
Can create a respect immediately, like I think he's doing now. He stands by his word. He said if you don't do this, you're not going to play. He's showing that and proving that. But to get the fear factor, you got to win. You got to win. You got to show that you can win. Yeah. Then the belief comes, I'm going to follow this geezer. It's like Sir Alex Ferguson. I was following that guy blind.
This isn't just about big names. This is a complete transformation. Manchester United might be out of Europe, but that's exactly what makes them more dangerous. No midweek distractions, no rotation problems. Just focus, rest, and 38 Premier League games. This team is hungry. This team is explosive. And if they click, Premier League beware. The war for the title has a new player. And its name is Manchester United. This Manchester United side is young, experienced, and full of raw potential. But if we want to truly understand where this team is going, we need to start with one name, Benjamin Šeško.
The fact that Šeško is a center forward as well. You know, Kobbie Mainoo at 15. You can legitimately question Šeško at 11, the way I think you can question Kobbie Mainoo at 15. The difference is obviously center forwards, I think, are more of a commodity than central midfielders who can pass.
The first time I saw Šeško, he was playing for Salzburg, and the comparison that struck me straight away with his power on his left foot with Robin van Persie. He just had that about him, and that is obviously a high bar to meet. But at 2021, what was Van Persie? He's definitely got that ability in him to progress to be a top striker. But I do think that he's young, he needs to develop. His centre forwards, apart from Erling Haaland, don't tend to mature till the mid-20s. So I think he's definitely one that's destined for a big move, and whoever gets him, if they're patient with him, have a really good centre forward.
I agree.
Because when a striker like Šeško says yes to your project over others, even when Newcastle is throwing serious money, it means something is changing.
I told you very clearly how Man United were more than confident, feeling that Benjamin Šeško only wanted to join them. Last week, I told you, don't underestimate Manchester United.
It's a signal that players still want to wear the Manchester United badge. And that says a lot, especially after years of chaos and inconsistency.
It still has a special place in people's imagination. It is a huge club. Your value in terms of individual endorsements is going to go up to another level.
The Red Devils are in the middle of a transfer window that's blowing past all expectations. And Šeško is the headline. United and Newcastle both submitted bids for the 22-year-old striker. Newcastle even offered €80 million after bonuses, but Šeško made it clear. He wants to play at Old Trafford.
I can guarantee to you that Benjamin Šeško never gave any green light to any other club this summer. So the only case where Benjamin Šeško says, okay, this contract is okay, this agreement is done, is with Manchester United. Full stop.
United haven't yet agreed a fee with RB Leipzig, but everything is moving in the right direction. They're preparing an offer of at least €85 million. And the only reason it hasn't been finalised is because they wanted to make sure the player was on board first. And how can United afford this kind of move? Here's the thing, they've been smart, really smart. Cutting Rashford's wages is saving them £13 million a year. They're also spreading payments for Mbeumo and Cunha, selling players for around €21 million, cashing in on Chelsea's penalty over Sancho, and even cutting major operational costs through job reductions. All of this has created the financial flexibility to make Šeško the next big number 9 at Old Trafford. This isn't a panic buy, this is calculated, because for the first time in a long time, it looks like Manchester United has a plan.
There is a feeling that Red Bull Leipzig want to extend a bit these negotiations because they want to get the best price possible. Manchester United have a good relationship with Leipzig, so they hope this will not be very long. So let's see. Can be really any moment because the two clubs are in direct contact, and then Benjamin Šeško is expected to become a new Manchester United player.
So what exactly does Benjamin Šeško bring to Manchester United? He's tall, he's strong, and he strikes the ball like a hammer. At 6 feet 5 inches, Šeško is built like a tank, but moves like a speedboat with a wild rudder. Chaotic, but quick. He's the kind of striker that looks like a cheat code straight out of a video game.
Well, given away here to Šeško for Leipzig. Šeško!
But here's the twist. For all his power and flash, he's not consistent in every situation. The 22-year-old Slovenian is what scouts call raw. He's a monster when running in straight lines. He has a ridiculous shot from distance, and he plays with a kind of stubborn aggression that makes centre-backs hate their job. But he's also prone to missing easy chances and overcomplicating things in the box. Šeško made his name in Austria and continued developing in Germany, drawing early comparisons to Erling Haaland. That's high praise, and while he's not there yet, the building blocks are.
Yeah, well, the last former Red Bull Salzburg striker who came to Dortmund and went to Manchester, he did okay, Erling Haaland. So Šeško, he's a kind of same player, but I don't expect him to go all that in, but he's a great player.
He'll shoot from anywhere. Left foot, right foot, headers. You name it. He doesn't think twice. Sometimes that confidence works, other times, not so much. His shot placement from the left half space is shaky. His movement inside the 6-yard box still needs polishing, but his presence alone throws defenders off. And that chaos can create openings for guys like Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo to take advantage.
The mobility in the front areas now is something, as a defender, I'm looking at and I'm thinking differently about Manchester United's front line. I'll be sitting there going, I'm going to have a physical presence up there. I'm going to have a physical test from all 3 positions, and I've got people that can run and move up there. They're mobile. They're the things I was asking for.
Now, United fans have seen this before. Young project strikers who never quite clicked. So it's fair to ask, is this another one?
The difference with Šeško and Rasmus is that Šeško's been talked about. He's been in these conversations. Arsenal are going, Gyökeres, Šeško, which one? I'm not really sure. He's coveted. He's scoring goals. It's not like he scored just like 9 goals for Atalanta like Rasmus did and he's gone up. I do believe he's better than Rasmus, but I'm still very, very scarred from getting these young kids and banging all the pressure on them.
The only difference is Rasmus came in and had up front inexperience around him in terms of Garnacho one side, Ahmad the other, for instance, most of the time.
And then Anthony.
If Šeško comes in, he's got 2 red players that have played Premier League and scored goals in the Premier League, backed up by Bruno. So I think it's a different environment and dynamic that he comes into.
To be fair, Šeško has played more senior football than Højlund, and arguably at a higher level. But Old Trafford is a pressure cooker. Just because you can be great doesn't mean you will be. Šeško's best moments come when he reacts rather than overthinks. He's not the most subtle with his shots, so defenders can sometimes block them easily, and keepers often read him well when he aims for the far post. That's the price of rawness. That's also the risk of paying €85 million for a striker who's not the finished product. Ruben Amorim's system could help. His 3-4-3 has space for a striker like Šeško, but it won't be automatic.
Šeško will be that great player. I'm not sure he is that player right now that takes Manchester United from 15th to 6th. That's a hell of a jump. Maybe in time and given his age, he progresses to become that player, but I'm just not sure that he is right now. And that's a big ask of a 20-year-old, regardless.
Sure, Šeško's adaptation to the Premier League won't be instant. But if there's one coach who knows how to turn raw potential into an unstoppable force, it's Ruben Amorim. Just look at what he did with Victor Gyökeres. Amorim transformed Gyökeres into a monster in Portugal, a complete striker who combined power, speed and intelligence. And while Šeško isn't exactly the same kind of player, they do share some traits. Both are explosive in open spaces, both love leading fast breaks, and both are capable of scoring from distance with either foot. That's where Šeško becomes exciting. He's not just a typical number 9 who waits in the box for service. He drops deep to collect the ball, links up with his teammates, and then bursts forward at full speed. He has the agility to move in tight spaces and the power to shake off defenders. That blend of finesse and force is rare, and it's exactly what United have been missing. Most importantly, Šeško brings something this Manchester United squad desperately needs: goals. But he is not alone.
His Man United scored 44 goals last season. They've now invested in 3 strikers at the top of the pitch that had between them 48 goals last season. So that's 4 more than the whole Man United squad got last year. So that's a huge improvement in that sense. 2 of those guys have played in the Premier League and have scored goals here. Šeško now has to go and transfer his form, his goals, his menacing play at times into the Premier League.
If Manchester United wants to stop being a ghost of its former self, it needs to reconnect with what made it great in the first place: direct play, aggressive pressing, rock-solid defending and ruthless transition attacks. And that's exactly what Matheus Cunha brings to the table. While most of United's current players hesitate with the ball, holding onto it a second too long, or playing it sideways, Bruno Fernandes is often the only one constantly looking forward. But one man can't do it all. That's where Cunha becomes essential.
Is exactly what Ruben Amorim has always looked for in a number 10. That kind of linking between the midfield and the attack. Who knows who the starting striker is going to be for Manchester United next season, but if it is a target man or an out-and-out true striker, if he sticks with Højlund or goes and signs someone else, this is the guy who can link the two together.
Cunha isn't just a striker or a winger, he's a connector, someone who drops into midfield to build plays from the back, but also makes runs behind defence when space opens up. He's a player who breaks lines, whether it's through clever passes or confident dribbles. It's not just about flair, it's about purpose. When he sees a chance to progress, he takes it. No second guessing, no recycling possession just for the sake of it. He drives the ball forward, he looks for through balls, he invites defenders into uncomfortable positions. He's the kind of player United have been missing for years. In a system like Amorim's 3-4-3, Cunha can thrive in multiple roles, as a left-sided number 10, as a right-sided creative outlet, or even as a false 9 when needed. He reads space well, knows when to pull defenders out of shape, and isn't afraid to take risks in the final third. He's logged around 70% of all possible minutes since joining Wolves. A reliable, hard-working engine.
Yeah, Manchester United fans will say they've lacked match winners. He seems to be that. You mentioned there, the goals are easy to look at, but sometimes you see him dropping deep, getting the ball on the half-term and setting up the attack, and then getting on the end of it to score goals. Yeah, and that'll be really attractive to Amorim.
Very attractive.
Cunha has that Brazilian chaos element. Unpredictable, slippery, always thinking 2 moves ahead, but he matches it with tactical discipline. He might not be a superstar yet, but in this system, he doesn't need to be. He just needs to be exactly what he already is, a player who can make the team progress with the ball. One of the smartest moves Manchester United made this summer was bringing in Matheus Cunha, not just because of his skill set, but because of his familiarity with the system. Under both Julian Lopetegui and Gary O'Neill at Wolves, Cunha played regularly in a 3-4-2-1 shape, very similar to the structure that Ruben Amorim wants to implement at Old Trafford. So he's not walking into something completely new, he's stepping into a role he already knows, but now with better teammates around him. And yet, it's not just about tactical fit, it's about what Cunha brings that United simply haven't had in years. He's unpredictable.
He's going to play under a manager that, again, I know that his stocks are very low, but I think he's a very good manager. He's a manager that has improved players at our clubs he's been at. He's a manager that clearly wants Cunha because he's involved in the transfer process. And I don't see a player who scored 15 goals from an XG of 8.6 last season at a Wolves team that weren't very good, who sold their best players in the summer, Max Kilman and Pedro Neto, and he still gave you 15 goals and missed a bit of the season as well. I don't see how he goes to Manchester United and gets worse or the output goes down. I think he continues his trajectory, and I think he will be a very good sign for Manchester United.
Is 15 goals this season good for a Man United striker if they want to be challenging?
He's not a striker though. He's not a striker. I don't think he plays number 9. I think he'll be one of those players behind the number.
So now you've got a striker who can actually be consistent. You've got Matthias Cunha, who thrives playing just behind the number 9. But what happens when you add Bryan Mbeumo into the mix? The answer? Pure chaos for opposing defenders.
Yeah, all the way up
Across the front, yeah.
Bearing in mind we were 16th in terms of goals scored last season.
42 goals, Rio.
These lot are getting you minimum 40 goals between them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not going to match one for one what they've already got.
Exactly.
They won't match one for one. If you get all 3 of them, you can't. I mean, what if they do? We're top 4, right? If they manage that, but they won't. If they come and they get,
if you get 10, 10, 15,
nice,
killed it.
It doesn't need to be necessarily one guy who scores all the goals. I'm with you. For me, it'd be amazing to just get that one guy.
Mbeumo's arrival could completely transform United's attack. Yes, he may have overperformed his expected goals last season, but that's not the whole story. He also created high-quality chances for his teammates and was unlucky not to walk away with more assists. He's a wide player who constantly gets the ball into dangerous areas, especially the 6-yard box, thanks to his technique and Brentford's lethal set-piece system. More importantly, both Cunha and Mbeumo ranked among the most aggressive, forward-thinking players in the Premier League, whether it was through dribbling or passing. That's exactly what this United team lacked for most of last season. Beyond Bruno Fernandes, there was little to no impulse to push the ball forward or break defensive lines. Cunha was excellent at driving attacks from deeper zones, and Mbeumo added massive value in wide areas through his dribbles and intelligent movements. And together, they provide something that United hasn't had in years: multi-lane creativity. You can't just shut down Fernandes anymore. You now have to deal with Cunha threading through balls and Mbeumo slicing inside like a knife. As exciting as Mbeumo's profile is, his efficiency can be deceptive. Among players who scored 10+ goals in the Premier League last season, his shooting volume was low, just 2.2 shots per 90. But his conversion rate was elite. He scored 20 goals from just 12.3 expected goals, a staggering overperformance of 7.7. He's deadly when given time and space, especially in that left half space where he loves to cut inside and let fly with his left foot. A risk? He's not very active without the ball, often lingering at the edge of attacking moves and waiting for the moment to strike. He's not going to press like crazy or chase down fullbacks, and much of his chance creation came from set pieces, penalties, corners, free kicks. That won't be fully his at United. Also, the more United loads up the attack with Cunha, Fernandes and Mbeumo all pushing forward, the more they'll need defensive solidity behind them. The wing-backs will need to overlap smartly and cover a ton of ground. If not, United's backline could get exposed in transition, especially if the wing-backs get caught too high or the midfield fails to reset. And that's exactly why Manchester United must fix their midfield. You can bring in all the attackers in the world, but if you can't connect the dots between defence and offence, if you can't build the play, you'll always fall short. That's where Bruno Fernandes comes in. He's creative, intelligent, has vision and leadership. But let's be honest, we haven't seen the best version of Bruno in a long time. Why?
Bruno and the other midfielder in there are only going to struggle if the team isn't functioning. If the team functions the way that that Ruben Amorim wants it to function, there won't be the big spaces, and they won't be playing transition football. It'll happen sometimes, but Amorim's ideal way of playing isn't for having transitional football, which we've been having a lot of, which exposes the inadequacies of the midfield players that we've got in the profile that we have there. So if they can change that, then it changes things.
Without that structure, this team risks becoming the same old story. Flashy names, inconsistent results, and 0 trophies. That's why the signing of Diego Leon is more important than most people realise. He's not just a promising fullback, he's a weapon. Fast, aggressive, and powerful in one-on-one duels. But more importantly, he knows how to break lines. He carries the ball with authority, driving from deep positions into enemy territory like a freight train. And in Amorim's system, that's gold. Diego Leon already delivered his first assist in pre-season, but his influence goes beyond the stats. He's constantly involved, not just holding width, but attacking the box, offering passing lanes, and keeping defenders guessing. He's always scanning, always shifting, and when he moves forward, he does it with real conviction. This is the kind of fullback United haven't had in years. Someone who doesn't just run, but runs with purpose. Someone who can defend in a block, and then explode forward in transition. A player who thrives in the chaos but also understands structure. He's not the finished product yet, but Diego Leon has all the ingredients: positional awareness, stamina, pace, and an offensive mindset. In Amorim's tactical shape, where wingbacks need to be both defenders and creators, Leon might become one of the most crucial pieces of this rebuild. So now that Manchester United have locked in their 3 new attacking weapons, Šeško, Cunha and Mbeumo, there's one final piece they must secure if they want this project to truly work: a midfield anchor. Yes, the club already has Kobbie Mainoo, Mason Mount and Ugarte, but if United want to avoid collapsing under pressure like last season, they need more depth and control in the engine room. That's where Carlos Baleba comes in.
Of course, I told you that Manchester United, after the striker, wanted to try to find a midfielder on the market. And that remains the case, because Manchester United in the recent hours have approached the camp of Carlos Baleba, the top midfielder from Brighton, to tell them that they have a serious interest in the player.
Carlos Baleba isn't just a good signing, he's the missing puzzle piece Manchester United didn't know they needed. Signed by Brighton for just under £26 million from Lille, Baleba exploded in the Premier League last season with 40 appearances, 4 goals and 2 assists. But don't be fooled by the numbers. His true value comes when the ball is not at his feet. He's a front foot destroyer, always reading the game, always a second ahead. When the opponent is just trying to get comfortable, Baleba's already there, snapping into tackles, intercepting passes, shutting down rhythm before it even begins. Ruben Amorim's tactical system is built on 2 things: high pressing and fast transitions, and Baleba fits that like a glove. He thrives when the team loses the ball, not panicking, but leading the hunt to win it back. Whether United are defending deep or pressing high, he's the kind of midfielder who never stops moving, always tracking, always reading space.
Baleba, his biggest thing for me is being able to transfer the ball from the back line in our back area through to the 8s and the 10s.
According to The Athletic, he's an above-average defender when his team are on the back foot. That's exactly what United have been missing: a midfield hunter who turns defence into immediate counter-pressure. And it's not just about tackles, Baleba also knows how to keep possession under pressure. He doesn't force risky passes, he doesn't overplay. He keeps things simple, switches the ball intelligently, and sets the rhythm. He might not be the player delivering line-breaking assists, but he's the one who keeps the tempo stable so others can do that. Think of him as the silent guardian in midfield, the guy who makes sure Bruno Fernandes and Matheus Cunha can fly forward, knowing the back door is locked. In short, if Manchester United get Baleba, they're not just signing a midfielder, they're building a tactical backbone. They're finally replacing what they lost with Casemiro's decline. The problem? Brighton know what they have. They plan to keep Baleba until his price skyrockets. And unless United make a bold move this summer, this deal might slip away. But after spending big on their front line, United can't afford to leave the midfield exposed. They need someone who can hold the fort when Bruno pushes forward, when Leon bursts into the box, and when Cunha drifts wide to create space.
Now, this deal is very difficult. All people involved in the story see this deal as very difficult because Baleba is a top player for Brighton. Baleba is a crucial player for them. Brighton don't want to lose the player. Brighton want Baleba to stay and to be a crucial part of Fabian Huelsl's squad for the upcoming season.
Manchester United finally have a team, a real one, not a patchwork of overpaid veterans and lost prospects, not a confused group stumbling from Europa League to mid-table obscurity. This time, it's different, because for the first time in years, United have a squad that makes football sense. They're not in the Champions League, they're not even in the Europa League, and that might just be their greatest strength. While Arsenal, City, Chelsea and Liverpool juggle brutal midweek games, United can focus entirely on the Premier League. They can save their legs for Saturday. No midweek collapses, no excuses. This is their chance to build momentum week after week, and the numbers speak for themselves. Cunha, Šeško and Mbeumo could easily combine for over 30 goals this season. That's 90% of what United's entire squad produced last season. Add Fernandes, add Leon, add Amorim's clear vision. Suddenly Old Trafford doesn't feel like a graveyard anymore. It feels like a trap for the Premier League. Because this trio is not hype, it's not wishful thinking, it's a problem. The kind of problem title contenders don't see coming until it's too late. So go ahead, doubt them. But when Šeško is smashing in goals, Cunha is tearing up midfields, and Mbeumo's dancing past fullbacks, just remember, the